Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Hooligan Chronicles.
No, thanks.
And today we have two guests from UK, my friends Aaron and Craig, otherwise known as the Review Brothers. Hey guys, how are you? And welcome to the show.
We're good, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us on. Looking forward to some of this because we've obviously spoken in the past, haven't we, Rob? And the conversations we always spark up are really interesting. So I'm excited for this. Are you?
Yeah, some thought-provoking questions. Let's have it.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to throw you under the bus, make fun of you, definitely put you on the spot. No, I'm kidding. We are friends. We've known each other for many years. And, you've been to Apollon, and hopefully you're going to make your way back here soon. And, just like with anything, this is a conversation among friends. Obviously, it's going to relate to what you guys are doing as review channel. We're going to discuss some other channels as well. And this is just a conversation. It just happens to be that other people will see. And that's the way I treat it. Didn't prepare for this one at all. Sometimes I do prepare for them. Sometimes I don't. For this one, I have absolutely no questions. I didn't even post because we didn't have time because of the time difference and everything else. We're basically recording it and it's going to be live within a day or so. So that's the reason why, even though we did plan it about a week ago, I didn't really prepare for it as I didn't feel like there is a need for it. We're just going to have an organic conversation and take it from there.
Yeah,
Freestyle.
well up for it.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go with the obvious question: how the two of you? I don't even know myself. How long you've been friends, and and how this whole review channel products came around?
So I'll answer the friends one if you want to touch on the Review Bros one. But
Yeah,
we've known each other since the early days of secondary school. So we would have been around maybe 14, 15, maybe even a little bit younger than that. And went to school together, went gym together, used to hang around together, went out drinking together when we hit 18 years old. We can drink at 18 over here. Review Bros sort of come about when we were, 27?
Yeah, because I want to say we started training ourselves around the 18, 19 mark. And then a couple of years into it, we started taking it a bit more serious, really pushing our bodies to see where they could go. And I guess, of course, as part of that come supplementation, supplements. And we actually started the channel like 4 years ago now, 4.5, 5 years ago, even back in 2018, where we used to pre-workouts. We'd used a lot of off-the-shelf pre-workouts at local gyms. They always brought in the latest and greatest, or some of the sketchiest pre-workouts at the time too.
Like Craze.
Yeah, some of those, and we always used those products. We could get it for like £1 a scoop here, which was like. It's like $1 a scoop, like really cheap prices. So we just used to try them all rather than ever purchase like tubs. And we always sort of drove back home after the training session, and we sort of spoke between ourselves like, what did you think of today's one? Oh yeah, I felt a lot of energy from it, or I didn't feel much from it. It gave me great pumps. The focus and euphoria were there, etc. And we just that day, we just decided, you know what? Let's start a YouTube channel and talk about our actual experiences using it. Because we'd spent a lot of money over the years using all these different pre-workouts. We had access to a lot of pre-workouts. So we thought, why not provide that information for viewers for free on YouTube and ultimately save them from spending money on crap and spend money on good products, and at the same time we enjoyed doing it. We found it quite natural to us and easy to do. Talk about the taste, talk about the price, talk about the label, and then talk about primarily the effects. And we just found it quite easy to do and natural. And I think we sort of bounce off each other pretty well. So we thought, why not start a review channel?
I remember you suggested the name Review Bros, and I was like, I'll tell you what, when I get in, I'll see if I can draw up some sort of logo on this app I had on my phone. So Aaron come up with the name, I come up with the logo, and then that was it. We started the Instagram page, started the YouTube channel that day, and we didn't really expect anything major to come of it, did we? We were just doing it to kill time, just to have a bit of fun. We were buying bargain pre-workouts down our local shops, just reviewing those, a lot of crappy ones to start with, and then obviously you guys are one of the first ones to work with us properly and send us all your products down, and we were really thankful of that, obviously, to this day. And it just spiraled from there, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Assassin 4 was the first one we had from yourself. And yeah, like I say, we just wanted to put that information out there and have a bit of fun whilst doing it. You know, we've never taken ourselves too seriously. We're not scientists. We've never pretended to be scientists. We just tell it how it is.
We just figured it out as we went, didn't we, really? So
yeah,
that's pretty much the backstory.
You know, but considering that you started a review channel as a whole, obviously, as far as I know, at least, there are not many review channels out of UK, especially review channels like yourselves, who have such a tremendous following. And I think that it's safe to say that you're probably number one, at least in UK or out of UK. However, you know, I mean, you said you used pre-workouts, and you know, you kind of gave your feedback of how you felt, you know, energy pump and whatnot. But there are review channels that I see that just do that, where okay, I took a pre-workout, this one smacks, and that's pretty much the entire review. You, on the other hand, are actually among very, very few channels that go into ingredients and you break down, which my preferred actually way, because I'm a geek, so I want to know what's in a pre-workout. And if I don't know a certain ingredient, I would like to at least for you guys to explain to me. And that's exactly what you're doing, which is great. So where did this knowledge of ingredients come from? You doing research? You're reading a lot. Did you have it before, or you kind of like it came as you started doing the channel, the reviews?
Yeah, well, we knew the basics, didn't we? Like caffeine and beta alanine, but then we kind of like, oh, I've not seen that one before. We'll Google it and delve into some studies and research, and it really was just a case of learning as we go, weren't it?
Yeah, memorising all the ingredients. I mean, we're not ashamed of our roots, Rob. If you had to go back and search some of our early videos and look at us talking about the ingredients,
our pronunciations,
it's worlds apart from where we are now. I mean, like I said a minute ago, we're still not scientists. We don't know all of the up-to-date research from universities, etc. But over the years, in finding these new ingredients in pre-workouts and it's having that responsibility. I think the channel is a responsibility to learn these ingredients, what they can do for the body, what they can do for the viewers. We just started to delve more and more into the research and memorize the basics of what they do, really.
Yeah, and curiosity as well was a lot to it. We just genuinely wanted to know for our own benefit as well.
Yeah, so we there's still more to learn. Of course there is. There's always going to. In fact, I've always said I'd love to fast forward into the future, 50 years from now, see what ingredients are in the pre-workouts and see what ones have been removed. It'd be very interesting.
See what's been banned.
Yeah. So over the years, it's just been a case of delving into those ingredients and working out what does what, and we've enjoyed it as well, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. It's been enlightening. It's also a case of striking that balance of how to relay it to the viewer who's watching. So you don't want to get too sciencey and too chemical-y. You've got to try and say it in a way that's understandable and digestible. It's all good knowing your stuff, but you've got to put it across in a way that they understand.
It's always been so the way you said it, Rob, there was you like the way we do the videos. The way we do the videos is a strength and a weakness to us. So the strength is we feel like we go into a lot of detail. We're very comprehensive with our reviews. We break them down into different segments, which is easy for the consumer, easy for the viewer. But it's a weakness in terms of we would love our videos to be sub 10 minutes. Because I personally think it would get more views if they were sub 10 minutes. But fitting all that information into sub 10 minutes is impossible, really, to be honest with you. I mean, you would have to cut a lot of information out or really condense all the personal side of it out of it altogether. So it's like I say, it's a strength and a weakness from that angle. I think the other weakness can be that in terms of retention of videos on YouTube, I think a lot of people skip to the effects segment. I think they still do. That's not my own. That's life. I mean, people have got busy lives. They may want to skip to the effects just to find out if it's worth it. If they're interested, then they might then go back and look at the taste, the label, the price. So, but we've stuck with it because I think it's different to how some of the other channels do it.
Yeah, I struggle to do it without the structure that we have because it's
Well, speaking of that, I remember somebody asked me if I was criticizing you when I talked about you guys with Sean, and I said, well, they break down the taste, the flavor, and they break down the prices and stuff like that. And I think that I was slightly misunderstood because it wasn't criticism; it was an observation where. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna take, for example, a certain pre-workout that is a premium brand, like Apollon, like Morphogen, those really, really packed products that obviously cost a lot more money to make. And you would say, well, you know what, this one sucks because it's very, very expensive. Yeah, then I would definitely disagree with that. But I did notice with each and every review that you're doing, even when you're saying, okay, this product is expensive, you actually take the time and explain why it's expensive. I mean, obviously, certain cars are more expensive than others. There's always price to pay. So I don't think necessarily that it's a bad thing, and I think that what people misunderstood when I was saying it. I mean, it's your structure. It's how you do your reviews, and I guess that's your not necessarily signature move because I think that other stuff that you do, like for example, your little acts in the beginning of certain videos, and I think they hysterical. I think that they're very, very funny because you come up with different ideas and you kind of take it from movies or something, which I personally love, and I think it makes it more entertaining. But I'm actually going to ask you a completely different question. So you're a UK based review channel. Most of the hardcore products come from US. I mean, not all of them, obviously, because UK has some great brands as well. There are a couple of European brands, but it's predominantly the review channels are also American based. At least the ones that are more well known, whether they're review channels or content creators, like obviously TJ comes to mind, Price Plow, Fitness Informant. All those are well known channels, but they all American based. Uh, did you find it difficult to break into that review? I don't want to call it market because it's going to sound like I'm making you out to be businessman, but was it hard for you to get into it? I know you were not planning on it because you said you did it initially just for fun, but was it difficult for you or challenging to get recognized and accepted, considering that you are British? And now, in my humble opinion, I think you are definitely considered among the top ones. Not going to say who is the best and whatnot. That's not the point. The point is that you are definitely among the top review channels in the world right now, and that's not even subjective because it's the truth. Um, it, did you try, and please don't take it as anything offensive because that's not my intention, did you try to copy anyone or look up to anyone? Did you try to borrow ideas from American channels, to build your own? And again, there's nothing wrong with it because looking up to somebody, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you know exactly what I'm trying to say. Or were you trying to be stubborn and kind of be your own channel and do it your own way? So I guess it's two questions in one. Do you find it to be hard to be a UK successful review channel among mostly predominantly American ones? And did you have to borrow any ideas or look up to certain channels to get yours as popular as it is today?
So I think we were inspired by other channels, but I don't think we ever directly copied them. I think we're the only review channel that does the structures the way we do in terms of like specific categories. So that would always, yes. But we've taken inspiration from other channels, and I'd say,
mind sharing which ones?
well, obviously TJ. Who else was we watching in the early days?
Well, TJ was the primary one. Obviously, he was the one. Muscle Players, of course.
Oh,
it's such a shame. Really miss Muscle Players. Love that gentleman. But TJ, of course, is one. We was one of the early ones as well, I guess you could say. But the difficulty with a review channel talking about pre-workouts is that there's only so much you can talk about.
Very niche, isn't it?
There's only so much you can talk about. You can't talk about, well, you can, but you can't really talk about the colours of the tubs, the weight of the tubs, the textures of the tubs, the smell of the tub. You know what I'm saying? It's quite, you can only really talk about the taste. You can only talk about the label. You can only talk about the effects, and you can only talk about the price. There's not really anything else of importance or well, interest, I guess, to most viewers out there. So all the review channels on pre-workouts, they all have similarities because there's only so much you can talk about, I think.
It just comes down to how you present it, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we've been accused of copying channels in the past, not heavily, by the way. You get the odd, well, more in the early days. We haven't had any in a while. You get the odd comment, you're copying another channel because, I don't know, we had an energetic start to the review. I'm trying to think of what other things but we've been accused of copying in the past. But like I say, there is only so much you can talk about, isn't there?
Yeah, you've only got so much wiggle room within that realm of reviewing a pre-workout to be unique.
So we tried our best to come up with different things. You know, we put emphasis on the taste. We start off all our videos with the skits or the niche sort of introductions. You know, the fun. We like to think they're funny. I'm not sure everyone does.
Training footage as well, because a lot of people would say that they get bored of the label section with us just talking about it to the screen. So we do our best to include us actually training on the product as well.
Yeah, that's
a lot of people love that
no one else does, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And actually breaking it up into segments and actually having physical graphics to separate those segments. So yeah, there of course there's going to be things that are similar, but then at the same time, I like to think we've divided ourselves as much as possible. And I think another really important thing, actually, Rob, is the fact there's two of us. I mean, you did have the guys.
That's the point, by the way.
You did have the guys at Supplement Kitchen, didn't you? And I'm not sure. Forgive me if they've stopped doing the reviews or not. Forgive me if they haven't. But that's always been. I always think that's been a big strength of ours, is the fact that, and this is no offense meant to be caused to other channels, but two heads are better than one. You know that old phrase, that saying, and I guess that's kind of replicated in our videos to a degree because there's two of us. There's two bodies that this pre-workout has to affect in the same way or a different way.
Yeah, it removes the chance of variables getting in the way and interfering with our opinion. Because
I might be ill, you might have had a bad day at work, and therefore there can be varying opinions on the product. So inspiration from other channels, yes. Copying them, I really don't think so. There's too many differences to be classed as copying, in my personal opinion, anyway.
Yeah, and in terms of sort of breaking into the US realm market of reviewers and sort of battling against their side, shall we say, one of the things we always did, and we still do now, is we make it clear to the companies that whilst we're not in America, we're not US based, we do have a large US following. So that's kind of how we get their attention in terms of them agreeing to still send us stuff, and we'll send screenshots to them of our YouTube analytics proving that as well. What is the current percentage of
so the two highest countries, no surprise, are the United States, and the second actually is the UK. So the United States, from memory, sits around 45% of our views. The UK only sits at around 22% of our views, and the rest obviously is made up through other countries throughout the world. You know, we get a few percent in Australia, and then percentages spread throughout a percent here, a percent there, a percentage all over really. But 45% of our viewers are Americans. So it's actually not been too hard to break into that audience. I'll say the biggest struggle that we sometimes face is the
shipping element.
The customs charges.
Which is understandable.
We've had letters come in the post saying you owe us $300, and we've already received the product. We have no choice in the matter at that point. We have to pay the $300 custom charge,
and that's why we're thankful on the little bit of kickback and money we make through the channel is to offset those charges. Otherwise, we'd be running at a deficit.
We'd be thousands in debt if we did it
totally for free.
Yeah, so it's all evening it out, I guess. The thing is, the truth is, the biggest market is the United States in terms of the most products come from there. It's where most people use them. and then I'd say probably UK second, really.
Yeah, I'd say so.
No, I mean, there is no doubt in anyone's mind today that you guys are very, very well known and, dare I say, respected when it comes to reviews, because otherwise you wouldn't have the following that you do. And I think it's earned. I mean, I've known you pretty much from day one when you started the channel. And I pretty much, even though Apollon was also at the very, very, very beginning of our journey, I think your channel, along with TJ, along with Muscle Players, have helped Apollon grow tremendously. And I know for a fact what a huge impact you have made in United Kingdom when it comes to Apollon's popularity, as well as here. I mean, we had guys coming to the gym training here because they found out about Apollon because of you. So there's no arguing that. I want to go to a few rather not controversial, but I guess more like they pique my curiosity questions. A lot of review channels review predominantly pre-workouts. I would say nootropics to an effect, and I get it. Why? Because you can actually feel the effect. So there is no doubt about it. Everybody wants something that will give them buzz, something that will give them energy, and you can feel the effects regardless of the flavor, regardless of the price. Um, don't you think, and I'm not talking about you in general, I'm actually just want your opinion, don't you think that review channels could benefit more? Because don't forget, I mean, the market is huge and it's not just pre-workouts. And, despite, and this is my disagreement, I guess, with TJ when he said about Stim Junkies, it's a very tiny little market. It's a
Yeah.
tiny market because you can't compare somebody who buys a Stim Junkie pre-workout that has absolutely nothing in it. It's just loaded with garbage and you get the buzz and that's it. But that market is tiny. You have this outer world, people that go to Walmart and people go to Costco and all these huge chains, and they buying protein and they buying intra workout and they buying auto pre workouts that not necessarily are very powerful, and obviously protein, because I think that there is a huge misconception when it comes to public perception of protein. People still think that whey is whey and that's the best, but of course that whey comes in different categories.
Mm.
It can be absolute garbage. Don't you think that the review channels could benefit a lot more and perhaps even grow if they would cover a lot more than not just pre-workouts but predominantly pre-workouts? Maybe I understand that, for example, the followers that TJ has and maybe Ari, they are that Stim Junkie group of people, that's they pretty much following mostly. But I think the following would grow tremendously if if the channels would also review other products and break them down for other consumers. I don't think the Stim Junkies will go anywhere. They're probably not going to watch that review because they don't care about it. But nevertheless, I think that the channels would benefit from getting other viewers, and other. It's like I watched interview with John Jones yesterday, who's fighting for a title this coming weekend, and somebody asked him a question about Conor McGregor, and he said Conor McGregor is a brand. It's as much of a brand as UFC. It's as much as a brand as MMA. So Conor McGregor coming back to fight, he's going to bring new fans because people know Conor McGregor the whiskey and Conor McGregor the bad boy and Conor McGregor the celebrity outside the cage. So
Mm.
when he's going to fight, people that don't give a shit about MMA will watch the fight as well. So the question is, I mean, you obviously figure it out. Wouldn't it benefit review channels? Again, this is not a knock on you. This is just in general. I'm talking about TJ and I don't know, David and everybody who reviews products to review a large. I mean, I know it's more work for you as well because then you will really fuck because you have to do so many videos. But there are so many products, that could be covered and perhaps bring you a larger following.
Yeah, so I'd agree with that point. I think you kind of touched on it there. The reason we don't primarily is strictly down to time. If we didn't have full-time jobs, we could do this every day. We'd love to delve into them and bang out more reviews. But when our time is more slim, we have to prioritize what we do. And we do primarily get sent pre-workouts. And that seems to be the primal interest for most of our followers as well.
It's tough to say because so I've thought about a few different answers. So I have no doubt what you're saying is correct. it would lead to growth overall. It definitely would. I think that we're left a bit disheartened sometimes when we do those type of reviews, because the views are considerably lower than pre-work.
Of course.
So it leaves us a bit like, that was unsuccessful. Having said that, there is success to it, because it would eventually organically grow into that type of market, watching those reviews, and it would collect and sort of snowball from there on out. I think another reason on top of that, I enjoy all supplements. I enjoy pre-workouts more than any of the other supplements. That's probably one of my bottom lines personally, is that I enjoy reviewing pre-workouts. I do struggle to review some of the other products because I'm not able to, with say, for example, a protein powder, there's less that I can talk about. I can talk about the taste, which is 100% subjective. So therefore, does my opinion count? I mean, it does to a degree. That's the point in being a
I
reviewer.
absolutely agree with you. Yeah, no, it's definitely very subjective.
But so when I'm putting that down as part, but I think for a protein powder, I actually think the taste is probably, well, it's up there with the most important of the aspects.
100%.
Some people say pre-workouts, it's not as important. With a protein powder, it's definitely much more important.
Yeah.
But it's hard to give it it's easy for me to give it a personal score, but hard to give you or the viewer a score, because they might hate it. So it's difficult to review other products, I think, is what I'm trying to say, because it's more based on opinion rather than fact.
And we get less enjoyment out of doing it, like you say, because pre-workouts are just generally the most exciting supplement there is, really. So I think
you're not going to believe this, but the main reason why I asked this question in particular, actually, I had this question for years now. So a couple of years ago, I traveled to Russia. I think it was maybe 3-4 years ago, something like that. And I mean, you're already familiar, of course, with Apollon products or with our protein and whatnot. And somebody asked me a question. I read somewhere online that Apollon protein is like really, really, really good. And I said, well, of course, I'm a little biased, but I mean, it is. I try to explain it's fully transparent. The ingredients are great. The taste, it's a very popular product. And the person replies to me, and he responds, he goes, so it's close to optimum nutrition. And not that I took offense to it, but I was a little shocked. I'm not saying anything negative about Optimum. I mean, they sell tons and tons and tons of that. That's probably number one selling protein on the market. That's not the point. The point is that I know what Apollon is, and I know what Optimum Nutrition is, and there is a difference. I said, you think Optimum Nutrition is the best one on the market? He goes, oh, without a doubt, 100%. There is nothing better than Optimum Nutrition. At first, I wanted to kind of like laugh. I didn't. But then I found out that majority of people in Russia, when I was there, actually think that way, that Optimum Nutrition is the best protein on the market. And you can't really blame them, because number one, of course, not everything is accessible to them, especially now, obviously a lot less. But back then, not everything was accessible to them. But the problem comes to an average consumer that goes to a supermarket or something like that and buys protein is not knowledgeable. And if they knew all the details about protein, I mean, of course, again, taste is 100% subjective. But I think if they knew just little nuances when it comes to, the quality of protein, or maybe they have something extra in it, like, I don't know, like collagen or something like that, velocitol, and they would understand the difference, maybe that review would be only 5 minutes, but it still would serve a purpose. And I think that, of course, would be a lot less than you have with pre-workouts. I just think that there is something it could be useful, and I see nobody is tapping into it. Yeah, on occasion I've seen TJ doing a review, and you've done the review also on certain proteins. I think it's great. But I think that there are so many products that can really open the door, because even though you have so many review channels, at the end of the day, you only have few review channels that are actually good and serve purpose. I mean, again, and you are one of the top ones out there. Um, I'm gonna, like I said, you answered the question beautifully, but I'm gonna jump right into the next one, and this one has to do with two questions. So you review a pre-workout and say it's a popular pre-workout that other review channel gave it spectacular score, but you tried it, and in your case, it's actually even more pronounced because there's two of you, and you thought the pre-workout, whether the formula or performance, is not so good. So now you're doing a review, and if you're to do an honest review, you kind of forced to tell that, listen, this pre-workout is just not good. And I'm pretty sure it happened before. How do you deal with that? And number two question is, has it ever happened the two of you had a difference of opinion when it comes to a pre-workout?
Yeah, so so it has definitely happened more than one occasion where a pre-workout's hyped and a review's come out before our review and we're having different opinions.
And the thing is, at least one of the times it's come down to the fact that the scoop needed weighing.
100%. And again, this is, I don't want to sound like I'm like attacking other channels. I really don't.
That's okay. Feel free to say whatever, how you feel. It's not an attack if it's honest.
We know that some channels have made the big mistake, and it is a big mistake, of not weighing the scoops. What was the one we did? It was in a white tub. Gulag was one of them. There was another one. Oh, it's going to frustrate me. But let's just put it this way. There's been a few times
where
another
one you're talking about.
Yeah, the little white tub. Where it's the scoop's been weighed wrong. And we've seen on the video they go like that and whack it in. And it's the wrong it's the wrong size, it's the wrong weight, it's 3 times more than it should be.
So that's why they like it and we don't, essentially. So it's not necessarily that we have a different opinion on the product itself, it's the fact they're taking more than the serving amount and getting more of a kick than we are at the correct amount.
I think, again, we never get paid directly for our reviews. We've never been paid to say the product's good or bad, either way. And I feel like some channels, and bearing in mind there's a lot of channels, so we could be talking about anyone here, some channels do get paid heavy amounts for certain reviews to go in a positive light. So therefore, their review's going to be more positive.
They say I'm talking shit, look at him.
We've fallen out. We've had massive fallouts with companies before.
Let me ask you this, and again, I would not even expect you to say it or name anyone. Have you ever been directly offered money from a supplement company to lie about, how good the product is?
I don't think, not in a direct way. Like,
no, not direct.
It's kind of like dancing around it, and then
suggesting, hinting.
Yeah,
and then we're an honest review channel, and I think that kind of clears it up.
A few of them have, in a way, like, if this is a good review, then you'll get more products down the line when we release our new product.
Like wink, wink, nudge, nudge sort of thing.
Yeah, but that does, to be fair, it's quite rare. It's actually a lot rarer than I would have thought running a review channel. I was expecting 50% of companies to be turning around and saying, as long as it's a good review, you can post it.
Yeah.
But actually, I'd say it's 1%.
We get some of them asked to see the review before it goes live, but we've never had someone view it and be like, no, that's no good, don't put it out, that's bad, luckily. But I think also companies will only send us their product, generally speaking, if it's at least good. Like, not necessarily amazing, but good, and they're confident in it.
Yeah.
I don't think if a company had a crappy pre-workout that they'd confidently send it to us knowing who we are.
Yeah, I think a lot of them do their research beforehand and watch a couple of videos of ours at least. So therefore they can see the honesty coming off. So therefore they've got that option, haven't they? There's certain large companies out there that sell a lot of pre-workouts that won't even interact with us, and that's probably because they know that the review might not come off as positive because their products are subpar, to say the least, sometimes.
For the masses.
So there is that, isn't there?
What about if a certain company or a certain product is reviewed by another channel and he's giving this 5-star review, it's absolutely amazing. And I'm not talking about, you know, whether they paid them or not. I didn't pay them, but just the review is absolutely fantastic on all levels. They sending you the product confident that the review is going to be just as good or better, and then you're try the product and you find the product to be not so good. So you're doing a review and you're giving the product a very average score, or perhaps not even a good score. Do you get a backlash from the company where they're attacking you or accusing you, or, you know, basically bitter and bitching about the fact that you didn't give a good score?
There's been a couple of companies that have threatened to sue us.
Yeah.
Not even joking.
Mm.
Which is sad, really. It's more upsetting because rather than take the criticism and work on it, they threatened to sue us. So there is that has happened.
Very rarely though, isn't it?
It is rare.
And the thing is, we are a review channel, so it's literally, it's on the tin. Like, we're not, that's our job, is to review it, good and bad points, and highlight them and give our opinion. So why you'd be surprised by us giving an opinion on something and then want to retaliate in a negative way is just bizarre to me.
Yeah, we've even had a lawyer writing to us on behalf of the company with threatening litigation. So it does happen, but this is we're talking 2 companies out of, we've worked with 200 plus. So it's very, very small. If I feel like the most common thing to happen if we give an average or below average review is they just won't interact with us again going at all. That'll be it. We've been blocked by a few people, but that's about as far as it goes.
We
really.
take that on the chin as part of the job, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What do you think about you know, different approaches to say reviewing products? Like, obviously TJ has his own style, and then you have Garage Gym homie Ari. He has his own style. He doesn't really, I mean, he does break down the ingredients, but, you know, and I said it many times, I respect at least the fact that he acknowledges the fact that he doesn't know ingredients and not very knowledgeable when it comes to it. So he basically judges only based on effects of the product and nothing else. I like Ari a lot. I think he's a great guy. But and then you have somebody like David who, you know, reviews and he breaks down exactly like you guys do each and every ingredient, like very thoroughly. What do you think the companies should look for when they sending the products to be reviewed, since everybody has such different styles? Do you think a company should go and just send the products to all the top review channels, or do you think they should be a little bit more selective? I mean, granted, a review channel can go and purchase the product. If the product is popular, nobody's going to stop you from reviewing it, even if you didn't get it by mail. But companies that sending out products, do you think that they should, like, for example, probably Morphogen and Apollon should be sending products, if by choice, then probably to channels like you and maybe David, because, you know, we put ingredients and dosages and that has to be explained? Or do you think that still the company would benefit to send the product to pretty much everyone, whoever is going to review it?
It does depend on the company, because if it's a company that's perhaps got a proprietary blend and they're hiding bits and pieces, they would probably want to send it to a reviewer that doesn't break down the ingredients. If it's a company such as Apollon, like you say, who's got a very comprehensive, fully dosed label, they're going to probably want that to be looked into and analysed and relayed to the viewers. So I think it depends, doesn't it, what company it is?
It does depend. I think speaking from a business mind, if I owned my own supplement company, I'd want the maximum exposure, so I probably just would send it to all the reviewers. I probably would. That's the honest truth. Especially if I knew the product was going to do well.
And what are the key points you'd look for in terms of selecting those reviewers? Just subscribers?
Again, there is I guess a selfish element from some companies out there that do look at the numbers. If a review is very good, you know, very formal with the ingredient breakdown, really go above and beyond, fantastic layout of video, and they only have 20 subscribers, they might choose, because it's not worth it at that stage, to send it to that one, versus someone who just rushes through a review and has 100k subscribers. So there's a business element to it. I guess in a perfect world, you would choose people who broke down everything, broke down into the ingredients, the science, the dosages. Is it the correct dosage? What element it can help you for? What it could do for your training and your future goals? A real comprehensive review, and that's where I feel like we strike the balance between the two. We are very comprehensive. I honestly believe that, hand on heart, I do. But we still get through the ingredients section as fast as we can, whilst jamming as much information in there as possible, rather than spend a good 10 minutes talking about ingredients. Bearing in mind a lot of views are repeat viewers, so they're not going to want to see the description of L-tyrosine every single video. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one to balance. So there's a business and selfish side to it, I guess, as to who should get the products, and then whose review would you most like to view as a business. So
yeah, definitely.
You know, I know that, well, you guys know that I'm a huge movie buff, and I know you love movies. And, you know, there is a rating when it comes to movies, you know, for certain age groups. And I agree with it because, you know, obviously we should be controlling that, or at least trying to control as much as we can. With pre-workouts, it's slightly different. There is, I mean, a 14, 15-year-old can walk into the supplement store and can purchase pretty much anything he wants. There is no really restriction, you know, age restriction, like if you were to buy alcohol or tobacco. Even though, if you think about it, some of the pre-workouts can be rather dangerous. And, you know, there is maybe it should be, I mean, probably nobody would expect me to say it, but maybe there should be some kind of a control as to who can purchase it and whatnot. Also, you know, when it comes to pre-workouts, if you're taking Assassin, for example, I mean, one scoop will have you flying. There is no way we can stop somebody from taking 2, 3, 10 scoops. It's completely irresponsible. It's stupid, but, you know, these things can happen nevertheless. You know, I talked to TJ about it in my in a previous episode, and we had a slight disagreement. And you know, considering that you're also a channel, I kind of have to maybe indirectly present the question to you as well. When people watch your channel, it's because they trust you. They trust you, and they want to know your opinion. You know, if they subscribe to your channel, they want to know your opinion. What does Craig and Aaron have to say about a certain pre-workout? So if you're gonna give it a positive review, it's almost like recommending the product to purchase, you know, because you're giving it your seal of approval. Just like if you were a movie critic and you give it, you know, there are many times Craig would actually comment on my posts about movies and say, oh, okay, you know what, I'll give it a watch. Why? Because he values my opinion. We are friends. And, you know, I said something positive that triggered him to go and watch based on my recommendation. So, you know, fair enough. Do you think that the channels have to be very, very careful when they review certain products, including Assassin, which I don't mind? If you were to say, you know, guys, Assassin is not, and you have said it, I believe, Assassin is not for a beginner, or try maybe half a scoop and whatnot, I would not be offended as a brand owner, because I think that's how it should be approached. If you said it about Lionheart, I would say, okay, you two are dumb, you know. But if you said about Assassin, fair game. I think fair play. I think it's the right way to approach it. Even for me, Assassin is very, very strong. And TJ even said that more concerns were raised about Assassin than any other pre-workout. Again, I'm totally for it. But do you think that, for example, a product like, and I keep talking about this product, like Excelsior or those type of products, should be really reviewed with caution, and people should know exactly what to be aware of? And you know, again, you don't have kids, but you know, I personally believe there should be a moral responsibility. You shouldn't just say this product is great because it gives me this euphoria, craziness, energy, and I'm ready to fucking destroy the gym. I think that, again, this is me personally. I think that it should come with a sense of responsibility, and I would like to hear your opinion. If you think I'm wrong, I'm okay with it, but I would like to know your opinion because I do think, as a review channel, you have to take responsibility for what you're saying and what you're recommending, and you cannot be careless just because you can handle assassin a scoop or maybe even a scoop and a half. You should not be pretty much recommending it. If you're giving it a 10 score, I will highly appreciate it. And I believe it's a 10 pre-workout and you gave it a 10 score, but I think it should come with a sense of responsibility. But at least Assassin is broken down into each and every ingredient, which you guys can actually explain. Okay, you have 10,000 milligram of this ingredient. This is what it does. But when it's a prop blend or something that's manufactured, God knows where, in some shady basement or whatnot, I think that I think I hold you accountable and responsible for what you're doing.
Yeah. So.
Well, we have a disclaimer, don't we?
Yeah.
First and foremost. So
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that comes up right in the beginning of the video, just to say, this is just our personal experience. We aren't doctors. This is not medical advice. Yada yada. So that sort of sets that sets the scene for that. And then we always make sure to say in the effects section, if we recommend it to beginners, intermediate, or stim junkies, as they say. And if the pre-workout perhaps isn't suitable for one of those audience, we might then go on to say, but this company does do an offering that's lower stim that might be suitable for beginners, or this company does do a higher stim pre-workout that might suit stim junkies. So it's kind of like recommending them where to go based on their own tolerances.
Yeah, there's a couple of other things I think as well that I thought of whilst you was asking the question, Rob. The world of the world of everything, but the world of pre-workouts is getting stricter. Ingredients by the month are getting, removed from products. We're going through this whole alpha GPC thing here in the UK and some other ingredients. Obviously, back in the day, DMAA was allowed in your pre-workout. DMHA is now very grey and probably banned in most countries. I think there's going to get to a point where products will only be allowed to have 200 milligrams maximum of caffeine per serving. I think the world's heading in that direction. Rightfully or wrongfully is completely up to the viewer to decide what way that goes. I feel like it's only a matter of time before pre-workout sales to 18 pluses, or depending on where you are in the world, legally adults, is cracked down on, whether it be online. You've got to put in certain details to prove you're over 18 or over the age of purchase. I think that's coming. So there's only so much longer that the risk is there to children. Obviously, there's other ways they can just get someone who is over the age to buy it. We'll always emphasise as much as possible that pre-workouts shouldn't be used by children, people with medical conditions.
Always weigh your scoops.
Weigh your scoops, very important. Like Craig said, mentioning who it's for. We try and tackle it as much as possible. We've also said to ourselves, if pre-workouts have benefits, a lot of benefits, of course they do, but if we could, it's a case of use as little as you can for as much an effect as possible. So I think the answer is, if we could train without pre-workout all the time, we probably would try and push for that direction. But we're in too deep now, aren't we, into the pre-workout world?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a huge market, and there's a pre-workout that pops on the market every other day, if not every day, which is, of course, even more. I think that's the reason why a channel like yours is very important, serves a purpose, because this is where customers today, they can go on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and there are so many pre-workouts. There's just shitload of them, and everybody is basically says this is the best pre-workout on the market, and the consumer gets lost and doesn't know what the hell should I buy. So when they turn to you, obviously, I think you can help them identify what's the best pre-workout for them, because there are so many of them, and each pre-workout can suit different needs. That leads me to a question. I'm going to ask you to do something that I know, at least I've known you for years now. I've never seen that side of you, but I'm going to force you to be two dicks right now. I'm going to ask you this, and the answer better be yes. Is Review Brothers channel the best review channel on the internet today?
What, of reviewing anything or just supplements?
I didn't see you reviewing condoms. At least you didn't review Casanova yet. I'm still waiting for that review, by the way. But yeah, let's go with supplements. Are you the best today? Best review channel?
To a degree, you have to.
I do. There's reasons why I do.
And that's my second question. I didn't expect you to say yes. I wouldn't take another answer. If you said maybe or subjective, I would be go fuck yourself. I like the answer. Now I want you. If I'm somebody who is picking just one channel, people are gonna hate you for this. If I'm to pick one review channel because I don't have time and I want to trust one review channel for all my pre-workout supplement needs, to trust them, why should I pick you? Why are you the best?
I think because we know hand on heart, we're 100% honest with our reviews. That is a very key thing. It's impossible to prove it, but we know it hand on heart, like genuinely know we're honest. That's one reason.
I think we're consistent. There's two of us. Obviously, we break it down in a structured way. We try and strike the balance between entertainment and relaying useful information that's also digestible. Yeah, we try and interact with our followers as best we can.
Yeah, that's it. I think one of the other biggest important things is that, like we've already mentioned earlier, and Craig just said it again. There's two of us, twice the chance of a comprehensive feeling on the products. I think we've got a sweet spot with the length of the videos.
We've used enough pre-workouts to know what's good and what's bad generally.
We've been around long enough doing the review channel. We're experienced. There's a lot of new channels that pop up. I like to think we're around the right. This is going to come across really harsh. I like to think we're around the right age for this. Another thing, I like to think that we've got a decent build in terms of we actually put products to use in the gym. That may come across as really harsh.
And it's a genuine passion as well, like bodybuilding and weight training. We genuinely enjoy it as well. It's not something we do as a result of getting the pre-workouts sort of thing. So it's, yeah, we enjoy it.
I'm almost sure by the speed of some of these review channels are cracking out products, I'm almost certain that they're just reviewing these products based on labels only, not even ever using the product. That's not a dig at anyone, but we've got enough space between our reviews to use the products. There's a lot of it comes across big-headed and egotistic, not mentally, but I feel like we've got a lot of strengths for the channel, and that's the truth, genuine truth, and we're honest with the reviews, and I feel like we've got the most accurate reviews in terms of consumer feedback as well.
Yeah,
it is rare we get people disagree with our opinions on products. It's rare.
And we do also review supplements from all over the globe, don't we? That's another strength.
Yeah, another strength. We get a lot of products from all over the place. Another strength I get, going into all these strengths, is we get a lot of feedback replying to other review channels product reviews and saying I completely disagree with their review altogether. We want you to review it because we think you'll give an accurate review, or your review was much more accurate than so and so forth.
I think another important string to our bow as well is actually that we have formulated our own pre-workouts and had like almost 100% positive feedback, and they've sold really well as well. So we've actually we're sort of walking the walk and talking the talk kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know if that's enough though, Rob.
And like I said, it comes off very, very confident. And like I said, there are not many review channels that I personally watch. And, I watch you guys, and, we have conversations. We pretty much talk almost on a daily basis about various topics here and there.
I just thought of something else actually, Rob. Sorry, cutting in there. we give negative reviews as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
100% true, and that's what I respect. That's what I respect, because when I know that a review channel, like, uh as much as I hate saying it, but it's the truth. I mean, we know about other channels that pretty much will praise any product or any brand because they're getting paid, and that's pretty much I think there are a couple of problems with the industry. I still think that it's a problem that we have, in 2023. We still have proprietary blends that certain review channels praising them as, oh, and this is not a knock on TJ by any means. Labels are just labels, but this product, delivers. Like I said, I fight with that one, because on certain level I do agree with what he says. On the other hand, I don't agree. So it's always like 50-50 with me, no pun intended. But it's very much, I think it's a little bit more complicated than just labels are just labels, because yes, I can give you right now a pre-workout, and the pre-workout is going to be absolutely amazing, and you're not even going to see the label. You can walk into Apollon. I'm going to say, okay, Aaron, Craig, just try this. You tried it, and you had a phenomenal pre-workout. Phenomenal workout. You're coming back to me, and you're saying, wow, you know what? I just fucking killed it. It was fucking insane. Yeah, I smashing weights, PRs, and whatnot. But you didn't see the label. But you're already saying automatically it's a great pre-workout. And then I'm telling you that I spiked it with something.
Yeah.
Either I spiked it, or it was from China, something with God knows what kind of ingredients and whatnot. Well, that's, I think, where labels stop being just labels. That's when the line is crossed, because I think that it's very, very questionable. That's the reason I think that's one problem with the industry. The proprietary blends are definitely an issue, and another issue is that people are getting paid to lie, because it's one thing if I'm going to pay you to wear a certain T-shirt, you're advertising a T-shirt, great, you got paid to provide service. But when I pay you to endorse a product that is either not good, it's a waste of money for a consumer, or potentially harmful, I think there is a problem. And we do know those channels, that they do exist in the industry. There were a couple of times where people would say they would attack you for endorsing a hardcore pre-workout, but the very same people would endorse a pre-workout that is pure garbage, that is definitely cost more than it should be. It's way overpriced, and yet they hyping it up, meaning lying to the consumer, and the consumer is spending hard-earned money on crap that they don't need. I think that that's the main issue, that nobody brings it up. And I know that for a fact also that some of those channels have attacked you, for what you're doing, that, you're the ones who are being irresponsible, and that you are doing something that is, immoral. How do you feel about that?
We've all said it this way. Firstly, we don't endorse any of them because of the disclaimer anyway.
Yeah.
And secondly, we've always said it's better
I never paid you a dime.
than not. What's that, sorry?
I said, I never paid you a dime for a review.
Yeah, exactly. And we've always firmly believed that it's better to have information out on the product than no information at all.
Agreed.
I got a few things to say again. I keep talking. So, starting off at the beginning part, Rob, the labels are just labels. That quote, that famous quote, 99% of the time, the effects match the label. So therefore, you can work out and this is something else that I was going to touch on in that terms of the labels are just the labels. Well, actually, the labels are very important, because, like I say, 99% of the time they match the experience. If they don't match the experience, then that's a bigger concern, actually, in my honest opinion, a bigger concern. Something we've been slammed for by certain individuals, these pre-reviews. We've done.
Yes, actually, that was my next question, so go ahead.
We've done 4 or 5, 6 of them, right? We've been 100% accurate on them. And I want to go on record and say that we've been 100% accurate on them because we know what those labels will do. So there's been people that say that have got quite angry about our pre-reviews in the past. Well, we've been 100% accurate. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm coming from?
Yeah, exactly. And we've never tried to sell it as being a proper review. It literally is a preview of the product. So what we think what the label looks like and how we think it might come together. We've never said hand on heart, this is what effect it's going to give.
It's like giving me an 800 brake horsepower car and me guessing that that's going to go quick. Well, yeah, it's going to go quick. It's 800 brake. So the labels are the same as that. They tell you what it's going to do. So they are very important.
And we also judge it based on the company we're doing the pre-review for. So obviously, Apollon, we're going to know that all your ingredients are high quality, how they all
sourced well.
It's not going to be spiked and dodgy. So obviously, we have to be intelligent with how we carry out these pre-reviews. We wouldn't do it for a dodgy underground company because we know that the probably is a load of old BS.
I think another thing that we do that I haven't seen on other channels is, and some people think it's a little underhand, is we have advert slots in our videos. So we'll have little clips of a different company's products throughout the video. Now, we wholeheartedly understand why that might look a bit sketchy, a bit dodgy, but we're honest in saying that that's a monetization route. We would much rather take that monetization route to pay these customs charges and to buy pre-workouts to review in the future, because we do buy a lot of pre-workouts that we review as well. That's important to mention. But we monetize the channel in that way rather than hyping up bad products for money or being paid to do a good review by the companies. We'd much rather do that than be paid to do the review. I think that's...
Yeah, and we've never worked with a company on one of those adverts in our YouTube videos that you mentioned that we don't trust or that we think their product is garbage. They have to at least be okay or good for us to agree to work with them because we're representing them and they're representing us kind of thing.
Well, I think that, you said something about the fact that people don't have a lot of time. If they watch a review which is 10, 15, 20 minutes, they want to, number one, get some kind of information, but they also want to be sort of kind of entertained. You have to keep the attention, and that's not very easy not very easy to do in today's world. And I think the entertainment aspect that you are giving, I think it's justified. Again, if I'm going to give you a product by Apollon Nutrition and you look at it, there is always a way how you would probably make it slightly different. And that's fine. That's 100% fine. So when I look maybe at any review channel, there are certain elements that I might say, well, you know what? I would have done it differently. Like, for example, when I saw first time review by Ari, Garage Gym Homie, I absolutely hated it. I hated everything about it. I hated the entertainment. I hated the fact that, he didn't know ingredients and whatnot. And like I said a few times, when I got to know him, when I got to know the backstory and the fact that he's a very, very honest, straight shooter, I'm going to have him on a podcast as well. And he said, like, listen, I don't know. I'm not very knowledgeable. And I appreciate that honesty. I appreciate that honesty very, very much. And I think that there's a place for everybody. It depends on the delivery and if you are honest about what you're doing. So if the feedback on your little, beginning of your videos, little sketches that you do, if the feedback is positive, and I imagine it is because you've been doing it now for quite some time, then, you're not getting criticized or people laughing at you and saying, stop doing that shit, then by all means do it. Even if certain people don't like it, that doesn't matter, because listen, I don't like every flavor of stuff that we do. I have my own favorites, but the reason why we have it is because people like it. People like our protein, people like our Enigma. They love our, pre-workouts, not so much because let's face it, it's not very easy to flavor something so jam-packed. But, we doing something for for the consumer. And the fact that you monetize, I mean, this is your own time. You're doing it on your own time. You built something, you built a following, you built what you have as of right now. I don't see a reason why you should not monetize it. And if you can, by all means, make the money as long as it's an honest living. You know, the fact that you have a commercial running during your reviews, I mean, yes, anyone would understand that you're getting paid for it without a doubt. But you're not exactly hiding it. It's not like you're pretending, you know what? Oh no, we're just doing it for the love of the game. No, you're getting paid. For me, what would be disturbing is the fact that if I saw you, you know, saying that C4 is the hardest hitting pre-workout on the market and the best one you've ever tried, I would never watch your channel again. If you would say that C4 is the most popular pre-workout on the market and one of the better tasting ones, I would say, yeah, that is correct. They're not lying. You know, they absolutely lying. Great beginners pre-workout or whatnot. You know, I look for honesty. I don't give a shit what you do as long as you're honest about it. In terms of your previewing the review, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first one you've done it was actually with one of my products. I want to say it was Double Impact for some reason. I think so. And when it came out, I was a little bit surprised. I was a little bit surprised myself when you told me that you're going to do it. And I know some people looked at it from a very weird perspective. Of course, I already knew what it is. But in reality, all you did was just you went over the label and you said what you think it's going to feel like. And, you know, I'm glad that once you did the review, it actually delivered as per label. Because again, it depends where the product is manufactured. You know, what brand is behind the product. If I'm going to tell you that, you know, this bottle of water contains 500 milligram of caffeine, you know, then you know it's coming from Apollon. I say it's 500 milligram of caffeine. You already know what it's going to feel like. You know, based on the label, you know that what to expect from 500 milligram of caffeine. If you're going to drink it and you're going to say, oh shit, I don't feel anything. Well, Craig, you tried it. Craig tries it and he says, I don't feel shit either. Now we have two people because, like you said, it's two of you, and maybe you're going to give it to somebody else. And the bottom line is it's just the label lied. You know, clearly it lied. So that's a problem. But when it comes from a reputable company, it's manufactured in a right facility, you know, GMP facility, you know, with all the certifications and testing and whatnot, then you know exactly what to expect. You do. With a prop blend, 100%, you don't know. You 100% don't know. That's why I'm so heavily against it. And even if you try a prop blend product and it smacks and it's really, really hard hitting pre-workout, I mean, out of 10 ingredients listed, it can be 1,000 milligram of caffeine. Of course, you're going to feel it. So you have something that costs almost nothing, hits you very hard, and now you're going and telling everybody, oh, it's a great pre-workout. But in that pre-workout, it's going to say proprietary blend, 4 grams. And the scoop is 4 or 5 grams, which is absolutely nothing. And there are 10 or 15 ingredients, and one of those ingredients is citrulline. You know very well that it's severely, severely underdosed, yet it's definitely going to give you the energy. You're going to be flying off that pre-workout.
And those prop blends, when we find them, we try and physically do the math on it and work out what's what. And a lot, like you say, 9 times out of 10 with a prop blend, it's underdosed. We've seen prop blends where the math actually works out for them to be okay, but like I say, 9 times out of 10, it's not.
I always say if there is a prop blend, there is a reason for a prop blend. If you have something to hide, you have something to hide.
Yeah,
and that's pretty obvious. You had your channel for about 4 or 5 years now, and you grew substantially. Do you see that the growth is consistent and you still keep growing, or did you slow down? And what do you think is the key element for you to continue growing your channel and continue succeeding? I mean, you two of the, I believe, youngest reviewers out there. What do you think is the key element for you to continue your growth and continue your success?
I think for us, it's probably just being consistent. That's what we've always done. We've never skipped a beat, essentially, in 4.5 years or however long it's been. We've kept banging out the reviews on a consistent weekly basis, in the same structured way we do. We take on board feedback, we tweak bits and pieces to try and make it more watchable for our viewers. We try and work with more companies and spread further around the globe, and just try and bring new and exciting things to the table, I guess, really.
Yeah, I think, like Craig said, the consistency, and whilst we discussed earlier, Rob, it's actually a weakness in terms of not reviewing some supplements. We generally speak about the same type of product every time. We don't go off and talk about our day at work. We don't go on and talk about events in the past. We don't go on and talk about, you know, different things other than supplementation. We also put out a certain amount of reviews a week, and I feel like if we did it on a daily basis, we would grow faster, no doubt about it. But we would stay consistent, because we're going to be around able to do these reviews for a lot longer than some of the channels on that run at the moment, simply because of age, really, effectively, at the end of the day. And again, that's not meant to cause any offence at all. You know, we've both only just hit 30, so we've got what we like to think a fair amount of more time doing these reviews. So therefore, our YouTube channel will stay fresh for a longer period of time. I think there's a certain, going back again, Rob, to your earlier question, what would make a business choose to send a product to someone? There is a level of athleticism that the person shows, aesthetics and age. And again, no disrespect meant at all on that, but I feel like we're going to be around a lot longer than some of the channels at the moment, just based on that. There's only so much longer they'll be able to get products for, or use products and train hard on products, etc. So there is that behind it, I think.
Yeah, and in terms of growth, it's always been steady and consistent in the right direction. But we obviously have our peaks where we'll do certain collabs and get more interest than normal, and milestone events sort of come up that do motivate us more and pick up more interest and followers.
I think it's been a bit quieter of late because of work commitments and other things, but it's only slightly, by the way, so it'll bounce back, no doubt about that. The work will quieten down, and we'll be 100% on the ball again. So,
and we've got a few exciting things in the pipeline for this year as well. So yeah, big things to come.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. And I think it's I don't think it's offensive at all. I think what you said was from the heart, and it was truthful. And obviously, I'm going to do something right now to close the show with. But before I do that, I want to say, guys, and I want to apologize. I didn't say it in the beginning of the show. This is the second year in a row that Apollon has won Brand of the Year with you guys. And I want to say personally from me and from the team how grateful we are for the recognition. I know, and pretty much I would say everybody knows that there was no money involved, there was no deals involved, there was nothing involved. And to get an award from Stacked, obviously from Shane, is a huge, huge, huge honor. It's a huge recognition. But I want to say I value yours tremendously, because I know where it came from, and I know that you actually paid attention throughout the year, and you recognizing us definitely only solidifies what we achieved in the industry. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, from everybody on the team. Thank you very much. We're gonna try to go for number 3.
It was well earned. Yeah, we by those 2 years, those 2 awards, 100%. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what else you produce this year. So
I definitely want to. I'm looking forward. I said to TJ, but come to think of it, I'm really looking forward for your review of Casanova. Considering there is 2 of you, and considering there is Condom, I'm not suggesting anything, but it will be very funny considering your sketches. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Put some thought behind that and get on it.
Okay, so I've done this with Lee Priest, I've done this with Corey, and I've done this with Carolina. So I don't think anyone would expect me to do this from you, because again, you're British. You're supposed to be nice guys. But I'm going to play with you the game that I've done with them, where I'm going to throw a name or a brand name. It can be a reviewer. I'm probably going to go with reviewers for sure. So kind of giving you a heads up. And any one of you or both of you can answer this with first thing that comes to mind. I don't need a long answer, 1, 2, 3 sentences, and we move on to the other one. So don't be thinking about it, because that's going to be fake. Don't play that game with me. I'm going to call you on that. I'm going to throw a name. It's going to be mostly anything that comes to mind. There might be 5, there might be 10. I don't know how many. And first thing that comes to mind, you have to tell me. So like I said, probably a lot of people are going to dislike you after this.
Oh no.
All right. First one. Let's see. Price Plow.
Interesting.
Yeah, it gone downhill. Like years ago, he used to be they used to be quite a big, well-known sort of brand, I guess you could say. Now we don't hear much from them. We don't hear anything about them anymore, to be honest with you. That sounds really
are we meant to be doing one-word answers or the full thing?
No. It was, like I said, first thing that comes to mind. I take that. Next one. Muscle Players.
Miss Muscle Players.
Yeah.
Really like Eddie. He's a great guy. Wish he'd come back. That's the truth. Yeah. He had a different entertainment on his reviews, and we miss that to it.
Yeah, definitely. It had like a nice wholesome sort of comedy vibe to it that no one else can replicate.
Honest as well.
Okay. This one, since you're a movie buffs and he's British, the latest Batman.
Oh, I really liked it, to be fair.
I did really like it, but I think personally, I think it was a bit overhyped. I saw too much hype before I actually watched it. I preferred the trilogy before. Who did the trilogy?
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Nolan.
Yeah, that's it. That's
okay. Dorian Yates, the bodybuilder.
Amazing.
Legend, yeah.
Very good. Like physique, granity, true bulldog. So
people compare their backs to him even to this day, don't they? They say it's Dorian-esque. So I think he's cemented himself in history.
Yeah.
Dorian Yates, the supplement brand.
Not that good.
Oh my God, Aaron, you should see your face. That was classic. That was absolutely classic. Okay, fair enough. TJ Fitness deal news.
Funny.
Yeah, we respect TJ. Do respect TJ. You've got to. He's the longest serving reviewer on. He's been going 3, 4, 5 years even before us. I think. I think he gets a little bit too angry about the taste element. Yeah. No, we like TJ's we like TJ. He's a nice guy. He's a bit blunt sometimes, that's the truth, but maybe that's just his personality. Yeah. He's one of the OGs at the end of the day, so there's definitely an element of respect there. What more can we say, really?
I'll take that answer. No problem.
Well,
Ghost.
Well, very good marketing. That's the first thing that jumps to my mind. Good
amazing flavours.
Yeah, good flavours. Average, probably average products. They're not bad. They're not good.
I'd say they're above average.
Maybe good, but not great or amazing.
Okay. Shane Smith, Stacked.
Yeah, really good. Good news. A completely different angle for supplements altogether. There's no one else that produces news, so he's in his own boat, isn't he, on that?
Very premium content as well. You can tell he puts a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, he's good.
Fitness Informant.
Again, I don't really know what he does, to be honest with you. He doesn't seem to review. He doesn't seem to review products, does he? So, I mean, does he inform people? I guess he does. Again, very similar to Price Plow. I think years ago, quite a big name. Now we don't hear anything about him. So that's the truth behind that one.
Okay, fair enough. And I think I'm gonna go with the last one, Review Brothers.
Legends.
Yeah, the best.
Handsome.
Just try. I guess just try to put honest reviews out there for people to get, actually spend their hard-earned money where they should.
Okay, fair enough, guys. I think that pretty much wraps it up. I think it was very, very interesting, very comprehensive interview, and I think you've done tremendously because everything was very, very truthful. Like I said, it was a conversation among friends, and I totally enjoyed it. From me personally, again, once again, thank you for you recognizing us and what we do. And I promise there's a lot more products to come, and obviously a lot more products for you to review this year. For you personally, I want to wish you continuous success and for your channel to keep growing and, and keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And hopefully we will see you in New Jersey soon.
Yeah, we'd love
We plan to, definitely.
And thank you for your time. It's been really fun.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, guys, thank you so much. And, that's wraps it. Thank you.
Stay stimmed.